Welcome to Using Technology. Introduction to Excel and Descriptive Statistics. When you first open Excel, you will see several tabs at the bottom labeled Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and Sheet 3. These worksheets are spreadsheets, such that each cell is capable of mathematical calculations, and the cells can be referenced by other cells. Mathematical calculations must start with an equal sign. That is, if you type a word without an equal sign, then all you have is text. If you put your cursor on this cell, then the text will appear both in the cell and in the formula line. If you type an equal sign, and then a given mathematical expression, such as 5 times 2, when you hit enter, Excel will do the calculations for you. If you put your cursor on the cell, in the cell you will see the calculation, and in the formula line you will see how this calculation was made. Note, text aligns to the left, and numerical values align to the right. Suppose now that we had a set of data. To compute descriptive statistics, we can use Excel to find such measures as the minimum, the mean, the median, and the maximum. To compute the minimum, type equals min, open parentheses, followed by the data array, that is, their cell address, given in rows and columns. In this example, from A2 to A11, then close parentheses and hit enter, and Excel will compute the minimum for you. If we place our cursor on top of this cell, notice that in the cell we see the minimum observed data, while in the formula line you see how this calculation was made. To compute the mean, type equals average, open parenthesis, followed by the data array, close parenthesis, and Excel will compute the mean for you. In this example, we have an average of 19.9. If we place our cursor on the cell, notice in the cell you see the observed mean, while in the formula line you see how this calculation was made. Excel has automatically changed this to all capitals. Excel is not case sensitive. To compute the median, type equals median, open parenthesis, followed by the data array, close parenthesis, and hit enter, and Excel will compute the median for you. To compute the maximum, type equals max, open parenthesis, followed by the data array, and if you don't close the parenthesis, at least the last parenthesis, if you hit enter, Excel will add the parenthesis for you, as well as make the command capitals. Included are the 2 extremes and 2 of the 3 common central tendencies. The last common central tendency is the mode. If we wish to place the mode with the median and the mean, we can pick up the maximum, and by going to the edge when we see the double arrow, then we can move it down and add the mode and another measure of central tendency, the trimmed mean. If you need to adjust the column width, pick up the column and double-click between the column heading and the next column heading. To compute the mode, type equals mode, open parenthesis, followed by the data array, close parenthesis, and enter. In this example, the mode equals the median. They are both 18. To compute the trimmed mean, you can sort the data by picking up the column and going to the tab labeled Data and sorting it from A to Z. If we want to trim 10% above and 10% below, then we average the middle 80% of the ordered data, as 10% of a sample size of 10 is 1, and therefore we will trim 1 below and 1 above and average the 8 data points in the center. Another way to compute the trimmed mean is to type trimmed mean, open parentheses, followed by the data array, comma, followed by the amount of data trimmed above and below, in this case a total of 20%, close parenthesis and enter, and Excel will compute the trimmed mean for you. We can also compute the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary includes the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. The minimum is the 0th quartile, the first quartile, the median is the second quartile, then we have the third quartile, and the maximum is the 4th quartile. We can enter 0 through 4 next to the appropriate quartile, and then type the necessary equations. Therefore, we will type equals quartile, open parenthesis, the data array, followed by which quartile we want, which in this case the minimum will be the 0th quartile, and close parenthesis. Now there is an issue with this code in that if we were to paste this equation down, what happens is the frame of referenced cells moves with us and no longer references the complete set of data. To stop the numbers from changing, we can place a stopper on the 2 and the 11. A stopper is the $sign, which stops the given row or column from changing. Then when we copy and paste this equation down, the frame of reference stays the same as indicated by the blue box. Other calculations such as the range, the interquartile range, the standard deviation, and variance can also be included. The range is the difference between the maximum and the minimum. To compute the range, it is like playing Battleship. The range is equal to D8 minus D3. The interquartile range is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. Therefore, the interquartile range is the difference between I6 and I4. The standard deviation is equal to the standard deviation STD EV, open parentheses, followed by the data array, close parentheses. The variance is equal to the standard deviation squared. We can type the equal sign, then press the up arrow to reference the cell above us, then the caret key and the power of 2, and enter, and this will give us the variance. We can also control the number of decimals shown by selecting the cells, going to the Home tab, and under Numbers, reducing the number of visible decimals. If we wish to determine the sample size, then we can use count, open parentheses, and the data array. And if we put the cursor on the first data point and hit Control Shift and hit the down arrow, Excel will pick up the entire column of data. Then we can press Enter and it will count the number of data points. Note, Excel only counts numerical values. Note, in this example, since all of the data is located in column A and no other information is listed in column A, we could have said count and picked up the entire column, close parenthesis, and it will only count the numerical values. If we wish to do a conditional count, such as counting how frequently the mode occurred, we can use count if, pick up the data array, comma, followed by what we want it to count, close parenthesis and enter, and then we can see that the mode 18 occurred with a frequency of 3. Each of these tables can be copied using Control-C and pasted into a Word document using Control-V.